Hey guys, welcome back to Becoming Soulful. This is a channel where we bring in a lot of interesting personalities to share their life story, their success formula, and their passion and inspire us to do our passionate work and live the life very fulfilled. Today I have a very interesting person. I will not say person, we have two people, uh, a couple coming for the first time in my channel and sharing their best practices to be a happy married couple. So I invite Sumanth on camera, please. Hey.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Sumanth and Chupi?
We're doing absolutely great. Thank you.
How are you doing? So beautiful. I'm fine. You both look so beautiful. And my audience are very lucky. This is the first time I'm doing couple interviews. So you are going into my history of YouTube. And there are two reasons I invite people. One is to capture the best people in my life. Like when I'm 80, 85, 90, I want to look back into this and I see who all have come and traveled with me. And another reason is you two have to, if at all you can inspire one family to live a fulfilled life, we three are done with our job. So all the best for you, and let's start the interview. So Suman, talk about you. Who are you? What are you doing? Where are you from?
Yeah. So I'm Sumanth from Bangalore. And so when I finished my graduation and wanted to pursue my career, I got inclined towards civil services and I went through into that segment. But over the past 5 to 6 years of my journey in that space, I had a lot of ups and downs. But end of the day, due to certain circumstances, I couldn't make it. But I ended up with a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom about that space. So what I thought was, let me not live that space, and I want to take this forward, and let me help candidates see the gap that I saw in myself and cover it up with my wisdom and with my knowledge and experience. So I took up civil service coaching itself as a profession. So what I started was as a teacher, but later I understood that being a teacher is a very limited space. So I went up to an organization itself and I told them, let me help you build your business. And the place I was working as an employee, I became a partner with the organization. So today we have grown a lot, and we are working closely with colleges to help students identify their inner potential and to explore the possibilities with civil services. That's one space. Another area that is really motivating me lately is that I just don't want to create an officer for the country, but I really also am looking at creating students with an exposure to their inner potential, the tremendous inner potential that they have through offering them life education along with UPSC coaching. So this is how I'm mixing the both, with intellectual knowledge being given and emotional empowerment being given to them, so that I'm able to create a more responsible officer for the country who can work for the progress of the nation. This is my vision, and that's motivating me every single day to move forward.
Well, what is the reason you thought you would need to give emotional intelligence to these officers?
Yeah. Why? Because when let
me complete my question. Because these guys, very few guys clear out the exams and come.
Yes.
And this exam is not a normal exam. Yes. It calls for a lot of emotional intelligence well in advance. If you are clearing the exam, which means you have that strength already in you. Not everybody is going to clear this exam. So what is the need for them to have emotional intelligence?
No, actually, Vimla, you gave the answer actually, not everyone gets through this exam. So what really happens is when you're a part of this journey, you come up with a lot of dreams and a lot of expectations and a lot of hope. But end of the day, the design of this exam is such that only a few selected candidates get through and not everyone does. So the question is, what next if they don't make it? They will be emotionally shattered, lost their confidence. Some of them even go to depression. So the journey is so rigorous and stressful that unless they're emotionally strong inside and they know their purpose, why exactly they're doing it, they will not be able to sustain the journey. In this context, and identifying this, because I went through the process and I know what happened to me in the process. It's a very enriching process, no doubt about it. You get intellectually stimulated, you do a lot of things. But the kind of rigor that goes through into getting through, end of the day, the journey has to be beautiful and the success has to be a sweet consequence. And if the journey is painful, end of the day, even if you're successful, what's the point? So keeping this context in mind to ensure that they're happy every single day, productive every single day, because I am a person who believes that if you're happy, you be more productive. If you're not happy, you can't be productive. As simple as that. So let them enjoy the journey by knowing those tools, techniques to be happy every day, along with being intellectually stimulated, so that they end up being successful officers and a happy officer for the country. Because end of the day, if they are happy, the administration is happy. If they are not happy, the administration is not. That's the point. So if you look at our honorable prime minister for that scenario, he focuses on not what he has to become, but what he has to give. And he's so energetic and so enthusiastic that vibes are going across the administration, and that can be seen. So I see that everywhere should happen. And that's the point of me giving that emotional empowerment.
Beautiful. Can I be a little more blunt in asking questions?
Yeah, please, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you say that we are helping them to build emotional strength, and if at all they are not going to be successful, how they're going to handle it, number one. Number two, they're going to be a happy officer. I have two questions. Number one is, are we getting them trained for failure? Number one. So they are going to anticipate some failure, number one. Number two, don't you think when they get clear, all the josh of the power, the respect, everything is going to make them happy? Why you need to give a special happiness coach?
Yeah, see, end of the day, UPSC is one domain where things are a little more king size. You get tremendous amount of power, you have a lot of money, and you have people to work with. All those things attracts a person at the immediate front. And by the end of the day, he has to understand one logic is that, just like how a Spider-Man quote goes, with great power comes great responsibility. So they're given all those things because they have to execute a responsibility. So end of the day, when their inner strength is known to them, when their purpose is known to them, that's what drives them into that journey and the path that they have to give. So just because they have all that doesn't mean happiness, but happiness is something to be discovered from within. Even if they're an officer or if not, happiness is the purpose they're working for. And being an officer is a tool to reach there. But I don't say that that's the only tool. That's not the only way. I'm happy today with my wife. Though I have not cracked civil services, I'm able to guide them and I'm having immense satisfaction in what I'm doing. So my message for my realization over the journey is find your purpose and work for it. And when your purpose means to you, I feel that's the satisfaction, because I feel it's not the destination that you need to work on. It's the progress that really gives you happiness. Even if you're a billionaire, let's say Elon Musk, for instance, he has everything he wants in this world, not for one generation, I think 10 generations to go also. But he works like as if he is living for a day-to-day paycheck. Why is he doing that? Because the progress, the meaning that he has for his life is making him, and money is just a sweet consequence. So I feel that's what everyone should do. Rather than focusing on money, focus on what you can give, what you can contribute with your skill, and money and fame automatically follows. That's the point.
But do you think the society is attracted with all these jargons of purpose, happiness? Very few of us understand, because we live that.
Absolutely.
We are quite mature enough.
You're absolutely right.
But the parents are not preparing for purpose and happiness. Parents are preparing for the respect, the josh it has, the respect it has, and the flashy things it comes with. So where is the gap, and what is the message for the parents over here?
Yeah, I think Supritha has a good answer for that, because her parents have been very supportive in what she wants to do.
IAS, IPS, all these sound so beautiful, very exciting. But the parents don't know the pressure behind it, or even if they know it, they don't drive it as a find your purpose or be happy, be responsible. So yeah, go ahead.
So here, why I like to share, why I ask my wife to share is because an Indian parent only thinks of an engineer, doctor, IAS officer, etc. Correct? According to them, that is success and that is purpose. But I like my wife to share, because she is a national level athlete, and she was pursuing her career and she wants to get into sports, and her parents really encouraged her. Post that, she became a fitness coach. Post that, she has become a baker, and now she's here today. I think parents support really motivate.
Here, because when you say you're a national athlete, oh my God, it sounds so beautiful. I want to, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, Indian parents are always looking at the bigger games of life and bigger careers, and they're not into these small niche or specialist kind of artistic or skill-driven occupations.
Creativity driven.
So, yeah. So in that way, I was really blessed to have parents who had a very broad outlook, and they did focus on our studies very much, so that we have that initial basic understanding of what we want to do and what we will be doing. So the education, what we went through, kind of gives us what we are good at, what we're not good at. So my parents were really good enough for us to like explore whatever we wanted. So if you see my kind of life till now, I was a national level athlete who did practice for like 8 hours a day, like to 12, 12, yeah. From the age around 12 to 23, I was into sports. Then I shifted my interest towards management. And from management, I did a really good work job in Mumbai, and I was a purchase manager. And I got a like I was really appreciated in my work as well. But still, I had that force in me that I was not meant to do just what was there in store for me. But I wanted to do something which I wanted to like stand by myself. So I chose alternate careers. I even became a fitness trainer. And then due to COVID, the fitness training job was a little hit. So I was in a very fussy space where I didn't know what exactly I needed to do. And because of that, I had another alternate career which I wanted to explore was baking. So baking was something that was very passionate for me, and I wanted to do it for my family. But the product itself was so likable by everyone that I took it in a commercial level, and I started. So no matter what profession or like if you call it official way of doing it or the non-official, non-conventional, my parents always have stood by me and always have pushed me to do it in the right way. So I think a lot of parents right now have already got that exposure, saying that they want their children to do something more unique for themselves and stand by themselves rather than getting into these buckets and get into the rat race. So I've around me only I've seen a lot of parents thinking in that outlook. So India is changing in the parenthood kind of a nature, but there's a lot of scope for everyone to improve and appreciate and accept what is being done by the children. So yeah, and at some point of time, I feel that the children also have the like potential to convey and convince their parents. So if that is rightly done and it is persistent, obviously I feel that the parents also will slightly start thinking in the children's perspective. That is what I have seen me growing up. Yeah,
Supritha, can you give me some of the ugly side of not having what we want, and then we have to figure out because you are an athlete, and then you landed up in baking. What is the
correct,
journey, pain journey over there? Because we should not make everything look so nice and easy, right?
correct.
Can you
Yeah.
share your pain journey? One of the reasons I want you to talk is share the pain journey and how you coped with it.
Yeah, so there is obviously the pain side of it, which I have got through. So when I initially started my career as an athlete and I did really well, and because of my education and the travel time that I took to reach my college and back, I had to give lesser prominence to my sports. And without a basic degree, you're nothing is something the Indian parents always keep saying to you. So
Is it true?
suppose you,
Is it true?
yeah, very, yeah,
It's true.
very true. It's true. So somewhere even I feel that it's right, because when you're into sports and when in a place like India where assisted sports professions are not that recognized, say sports nutritionist, say sports physiotherapist, these people are very small even now. When you compare it to like being a coach or an athlete, they're given a very little prominence, but yes, they do need them. But I was not exposed to such kind of professions. I didn't even know that the people do require these these professions in a very greater manner until and unless I saw these IPL games, then FIFA, where I saw that teams did have all these kind of professions. So in that case, I was like, so I was in that mindset where if I get into an injury, or if I lose my leg, or if I break my knee, what next? Well, how am I going to live my life? Do I want to be dependent on my wife, on my husband and my parents, or do I want to take a stand and have my own profession? So in that kind of mental mindset, I kind of inclined towards education and I subsided my interest towards sports. So that was something which I realized 3 years later when I thought that, oh, I can even do these things in spite of me being like into an education background as well as a sports background. So that's when I got into my MBA, I chose a college which was more sports driven and academically good, so that I can still live those two lives of sports which I have in me. So yeah, in those consequences, my parents did ask me, why are you doing this roller coaster kind of a thing where you're into an athlete, then you become an engineer, then you'll be doing MBA? Do you have anything in life that you're like focused on, or do you just want to be like a jack of all in the game of none kind of a thing? So yeah, they had been constantly provoking me to think right, but somewhere I know that they want me to settle in a right way and do a good earning and a happy life work balance. But constantly it keeps poking them, saying that she's capable of so much more, but why is she settling? For me, it is not settling. For me, it's still exploring, but for them, it feels like I'm settling. So
So
yeah, to convince.
settle is a famous word in India. My husband is very fond of that. Let us settle down. I'll be happy when
Correct,
you
correct.
settle down. So
Yeah.
when your parents were keep on asking questions, were you very clear with what you're doing, or did you get disturbed?
Uh, yeah. So initially, when someone asks me a question, I do take a minute to like recollect what I am doing and what I have to answer them in a very nice way where we have a win-win situation. So in that kind of a scene, I become very passive. So they feel that they've asked me a very provoking question and they've got me thinking. But in the other way around, I really need to like see the pros and cons and give them the answer. So in that phase, yeah, I did have a little mental pressure, but I have always been very straightforward and communicated what I want. So they have also been very appreciative.
Can I call you you're a rebel?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Rebel
Because
in a
one of
very
the,
nice way, because
yeah, good rebel, good
they,
rebel. Okay.
yeah,
Rebel,
because
rebel for a good
initially,
cause.
yeah. So till like engineering, I used to not talk back to them, like the typical acha vacha Indian kid. So initially, when in engineering I started speaking to them, it was like very hard for them to accept that their kid can talk back. So then I made it a point saying that if you can see it a better way, I'm trying to put my point across. So that's when they started actually listening to me and they gave me a lot of prominence and value to my words. Yeah.
Beautiful. Because one of the reason most of the houses have a problem drama is because one of them are a good girl or a good boy there.
Yeah.
You know, we call it good girl syndrome.
True.
Uh,
Yeah.
Conformity is a curse in the society. When we are very clear with what we want to do and it's going to impact more than me, my family and the society also, then conformity is not the thing. I really salute you again for what you have done. A quiet girl, quietly doing something and being very sure about something and handling it very smartly. And finally, this is success. You know, success is not a lot of money. Success is not fame. This is personal success. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
One
you.
more question for Supriya.
Yeah.
Supritha, right? One more question
Yeah.
for you. You got your parents understand after a point of time. What is
Yeah.
your suggestion for children who are not clear like you and who don't have the tools to handle challenging questions? What is your suggestion?
So there are two ways to do this here. I have the child perspective and the parent perspective. I strongly feel the child should at least have a rough understanding of what he wants and what he wants to get. Like I had multiple options of my career, multiple choices of what I would want to see myself as, like how everyone asks, "Bade hoge kya banoge?" types, all that thing. So when you have at least 3 to 4 options, and that is communicated to your parents, I feel the parents at least have the understanding, and I feel they will start giving you the support and knowledge in order for you to make your own choice.
Good.
And from the parents' perspective, I feel that they have to be understanding and accepting of what the child wants, and at least give them ways and knowledge resources for them to explore and then come back with an answer to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So
The point over here is that the child should have done enough research on the choices, and the parents,
passionate or knowledgeful. Yeah.
so the research will help them, and the parents
Correct.
should start trusting the children.
Yeah.
And give some more
And yeah,
do their research, facilitate the
correct.
research aspect. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sumanth, you want to add something over here?
Yeah, one point I want to add on here is that there's an angle called viewpoint. End of the day, a parent, when they are telling it something to the kid, they want the good for the kid. They have a viewpoint. And the kid also has a viewpoint that the kid feels is right. So end of the day, if we both can sit down and really, because if you're talking about a very young kid, they might not understand this perspective. But as a parent, the perspective that you can understand of the kid is that the kid has a viewpoint. Kindly sit down with them, have an open talk with the kid, get to know what is the information the kid has gathered that has motivated the kid to perform or take up a particular career, and expose them to the right experts where they can have a proper conversation to give the kid the proper information so the kid can take the decision. See, the problem with Indian parents that I have noticed, because I didn't face that problem with my parents, that is why I'm what I am today. My parents were least bothered what I want to do. They were allowed me to do what I want. But I noticed that my friends did not have this freedom. They were specifically told what to be done. So as a parent, rather than having a control, you can never control your kids, but you can only guide them. But they will find their own path. So your job is to make them find the path.
Sumanth, can I interfere that financially sound parents give that freedom? It's because of the financial insecurity. Some of your friends' parents are not.
It's absolutely not related to financial freedom. It's the attitude. It's as simple as that. So it's the attitude the parents need to have. And going further now, because of the digital revolution, people are exposed to many new things. And I can say, YouTube. I like to give my example of my niece who is 12 years right now. And the way she does makeup for herself and the way she follows Korean related stuff, Korean drama, the makeup, I think YouTube itself is a schooling altogether. Now, as their parents used to be there, relatives, they were always controlling her from not using the phone, not using the thing. What I used to do with her was I used to watch the things that she watches and asked her what was her observations from that. So she was telling a lot of things to me and opening up a lot of new things. She told that I'm following a Korean band, you want to hear it. So I went and heard it with her. Though I didn't appreciate it, but I asked, what do you appreciate in her? She started telling what she appreciates in the Korean band, Korean aspects of it. Now, today her skill and creativity has gone to a level where the way she does makeup for herself, that's so good. So she wants to be a makeup artist and she's very clear about it. So when she knows that, my suggestion is don't let her quit education. Let her education go. On the sidelines, find out opportunities where she can work with the artists. Let it be for free, no problem. But let her get exposure to the industry so that she can make up her own career, probably for a higher education through her alternate career right there. Because you know how much a makeup artist can really do if she's talented, correct? So that's the point I'm trying to encourage all parents. Sit down with them, find out what their interests are and take it forward.
When I want to tell my audience that because of this reason, I invited these two, because they have so much of clarity, they have brilliant attitude, and they are my ideal human being, which I wish all the families should have. Sorry about this.
Thank you.
All the families should have. So I'm really so proud about, when you guys are talking, something is happening to me. Why can't all the parents be like you? Why can't all the couples be like you guys? Why can't we live like an individual human being with so much of clarity, passion, attitude, and how life can be so smooth when you say that? Did you convey that to your niece's parents?
Yeah, absolutely. We
And they agree
constantly
with it?
keep, no, they won't. See here, they're exposed to it. Okay. They know that they like this, they like it. But I always tell them, don't scold her, try to encourage her. There is a maturity of the parent. The parent who is well educated are able to understand my words. The parent who is not has their own ways of doing things. But end of the day, our job is not to control them. We cannot control anyone. Our job is to inform them. And it's their decision to take it forward. That's the point.
But what
Let's
I have
jump on to
observed,
Suprita.
what I have observed in the very brief interaction which I had with his niece's parents was that they're okay about her getting into all these fields, but yet again, she has to focus on her studies more than what this is. So yeah, so that's the only thing. I think they're welcoming, but somewhere that fear-driven
Sure.
Indian society wala mentality comes in, and then they step
Fear of
back. And
getting distracted and fear of getting obsessed with this kind of creative stuff, which is not a proven success in our society. All these beautician stuff, it takes a long time to establish. And
very
what my husband says is, my basic responsibility for you guys is to give you the basic sense of security jobs. Whatever you want to do, use the security job and establish your dream later. But as a father, I want to give you this sense of security. The jobs, like both my daughters are dentists. So he was so particular that they get into medical profession. And when they challenged him, he said, this is my dream. I have a responsibility. I will give you a proven success security job. With this success, you take and do whatever you want. You achieve your dreams with your salary. And they bought time.
Perfect.
That was beautiful. Initially, I was also fighting, but one of my daughters will say, "No, I'm wasting a lot of time in this unwanted stuff. My time is wasted. My youth is going. My age is going." So then, after a few things, when she said that there is some respect coming along with that, there is some power coming along with this title. I will use it, and then I will start my fashion designing later. So that was
Wow.
a healthy conversation, and that was very nice. Okay, now my
Correct.
favorite topic is happy couple. How you guys are being so happy, giving that space and encouraging each other. And your mother-in-law is, hats up to your mother-in-law, and
yeah,
how she's
definitely.
talk about that.
Okay. Okay, you can share. Yeah. So my logic is very simple. I was exposed to life education before marriage, and I got to know that there was a statement that they had told in the education that I was exposed to. That was, what is the purpose of any relationship, or for marriage for that matter? What is the purpose of marriage? Why should you get married? The logic they had told me was, the purpose of marriage is to serve others, or to serve the person whom you're with. This logic was told and ingrained in me, and was made me understood that only if you agree to this, you get married. Your job of getting married is to serve the person whom you're with, or for that matter, any relationship you're with. So when I agreed was when we take forward to the marriage. And yes, we do have egos coming in. We do have those little fights that happen, but it's the speed at which you understand that it's your ego that's playing your game, and the speed with which you are able to recover from that is what really makes the difference. So that's what keeps up the thing. And my suggestion for everyone is, there's an opportunity to learn life education about marriage and other things. Get this education before getting into the institution of marriage. That's when the things can be smooth. It's because I keep comparing consciously. If I didn't have this education, what would have happened for my ego? The ego plays a very big game. It can stretch to any extent. Today, I'm noticing that, the culture of getting divorced is flamboyantly shown on the screens, actually. So the point is, when that is shown, the alternative part can also be shown about how to make the marriages work effectively if you can have the right education. So that education, I'd like to thank that education that was given to me. And that's what made me more mature in that relationship.
One suggestion for all the husbands. What is freedom for wife? Tell me.
What is freedom for wife?
Because there are
I should tell, or she should answer.
Many husbands are thinking, I'm giving a lot of freedom for my wife. But for even 1 rupee, the wife has to go and stand in front of the husband. She is earning, in fact, but they are thinking this is family and all the money financial has to be together. But if she has to do one particular course, she has to go and ask her husband, she's not feeling comfortable, what he will say. And there's a lot of hesitation. I'm just quoting one example. So as a husband, if you say that I have given my wife the freedom, that itself is not a healthy statement. I have given a freedom. Each individual has to have their freedom of money, time, and the impact they want to make. What is your message to husbands? What is freedom for wife as a husband?
True. My logic is, if you give freedom, she'll give you freedom. If you don't give her freedom, she will not allow you to be free. That's the logic I like to give everyone. And the second thing is, you say you're giving freedom, but according to whom? Yes, you tell you're giving freedom, but have you checked with her? Have she got the real freedom that she wants? That kind of conversation, if you have, I think she can really open up on things with.
Is he walking the talk?
Yeah, definitely. That's why we both are able to coexist in the space.
Beautiful. So what do you like about him, and what is your suggestion to all the wives? You're so lucky. Okay, I'm so jealous. You're so lucky. Okay, most of my audience are going to say this girl is lucky and she's talking like this because he's like that. What if we're having a control freak husband? I'm talking about 90s kids, okay, who don't come under the modern marriage. These are the people who are born in the 90s and they are caught between the old age meaning of marriage and the meaning of marriage. I'm talking about those kids. So you tell me.
Okay. So initially when we had that first interaction before we got settled into the wedlock and all that, so the first meeting, I was very clear, how I was with my parents about what is the way I want to take my married life ahead, and what are the expectations and what are the nature and qualities that I see in my husband. So usually first 2-3 people, when I spoke like that, they raised their eyebrow, seriously, kind of a thing. But when I was speaking to Sumanth, Sumanth was very peaceful and he was very warm and accepting all those things.
He looks like very nice.
Yeah, so that's one thing that instantly attracted me. I got attracted to him. So he's always been standing by whatever he's committed during that first interaction that we had. So that's a very strong point, and I live by that even today. And I appreciate our bond. And the thing that I need to tell the women are you'll have to really voice yourself. In this patriarchal society, everything is the man says it and you do it, kind of a thing. But I feel a lot of men are actually willing to listen to, but the women are oppressed, saying that you shouldn't speak to your husband like that, you can't put your wishes and stuff like that. Maybe give it a chance, talk to them, feel how they understand, come to a midpoint maybe, and then figure out things. So at least if you voice yourself and communicate and you have a standpoint, I feel the other person will also come through. Yeah.
You need to come on the focus right now. So voicing is fine. When the women voice, there's a lot of physical abuse. Sumanth is so cute and listening to you and understanding the art of communication. But most of the homes that doesn't happen.
Correct.
If they're going to voice up, there's going to be fight. If they're going to be fight, the children are going to be disturbed.
Target. Yeah.
So I want you to come again on my show because we have a lot more to discuss. This show we will wind up. This question to you is, think about and tell us how we can avoid disturbing the children with parental fights and still the women can voice out. I'm going to invite you again for another show. I want to do a show on how women can stop being a good girl and start voicing out for the happiness of the family, not for that femininity or feminine fight or feminism, not that kind of a family. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you guys, how beautiful it is to see you.